With all of this talk about effluence, you might consider this case quite an effluent show. To me, there are a few points not focused on in the case that are worth considering. First, did Congress have the constitutional authority to tell the EPA to enforce state water quality standards? I cannot find anywhere in the Constitution where the United States was delegated the authority to enforce water quality standards, or, for that matter, any environmental standards. So if we had a constitutionally sound judicial system, this whole case would have been thrown out. Not because San Francisco didn't have a grievance against the federal government, but because the case they brought was based on an invalid law. Second, why did San Francisco question the statutory power of the EPA when most of their complaints seem to be that their permitting regulations are arbitrary and capricious? Third, and finally, yes, the details matter. But why did both attorneys and the justices ignore the detail that Section 1311B1C is part of Section 1311, which deals with effluent limitations? During oral arguments, there was much discussion about the fact that Section 1311B1C stated any more stringent limitations, and whether or not that meant effluent limitations or any form of limitation. Seems to me if you're reading a law about effluent limitations, all of it's going to be about effluent limitations unless otherwise stated. I started my analysis thinking San Francisco was right. After listening to oral arguments, I think the entire process is a giant pile of effluence. As far as the justice's question, I'm reminded of when Jesus confronted the Pharisees and stated they strain out a gnat and swallow a camel. How California handles its water quality is their business. Placing a federal agency in the middle does nothing but add more bureaucracy to an already bureaucratic nightmare. Maybe that's why the framers limited Congress to only making laws necessary and proper for executing the powers vested by the Constitution in the government of the United States. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 18 reads, "The Congress has the power to make all laws which shall be necessary and proper for carrying into execution the foregoing powers, and all other powers vested by this Constitution in the government of the United States or in any department or officer thereof." Perhaps if we kept Congress bound to that limit, we wouldn't have such effluent-laden cases.